Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video here to continue covering the Steam Summer Sale, and with this video, we're going to be looking at games under the price of $2. Yes, if you just have a couple of bucks lying around in your Steam wallet or you sell some trading cards, yeah, that'll be enough for you to pick up some of these titles. So let's just get right into it. I believe I have about 12 deals to go over, so let's get started and let's kick things off with Metro Last Light Redux. Now, you can check out Metro 2033, Last Light, whichever one you want. If you do just want to get the entire collection, you can pick up the Metro Saga bundle for $9.06. Yes, that's a phenomenal deal, but to stay under $2, I'll recommend you guys my favorite in the series, Metro Last Light. The Redux version does, you know, improve it a little bit in terms of visuals. It looked good. It looked fantastic, I should say, when the game initially came out. I want to say it was back in 2012, 2013, and then the Redux version came out a year later. It was essentially released alongside the PS4 and Xbox One and all that stuff. But yeah, Last Light's really well done. A very, very atmospheric first-person shooter. Narrative-driven dialogue is great. Narration is really good, and just a really, really well done and engrossing first-person shooter. I would definitely pick this one up, and you know, you don't have to play 2033. I would recommend you to play 2033, don't get me wrong. The game isn't super lengthy. You could probably complete it in around 8 to 8.5 hours, around that range, but you're paying $1.99, so pretty worthwhile there. Next up, Hotline Miami, 80% off for $1.99. No-brainer for Hotline Miami. I mean, Hotline Miami is one of those games that if you just want to mentally uncheck, it's one of those games that you could just pick up and play and have a great time with. Throwback visual style that I understand isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it looks really great, and, you know, it's something that's right up my alley in terms of its visual presentation. Soundtrack's really well done, and, you know, it can be a little gruesome, but, like, bro, it's pixel graphics. Like, how gruesome is pixel graphics going to be viewed as? I think Hotline Miami is great, and I would strongly recommend it. Think it's a great time, all things considered, so definitely give that a shout, and I think you'll enjoy that quite a bit. Next up, here's a game that, you know, maybe not all of you are going to enjoy, but if you want something that's more of a relaxing, casual game that just is a little bit more serene, I recommend Flower. It's 73% off for $1.88. I actually played this on the PlayStation 3 when it came out, and back in the day when this game initially came out, like, downloadable games were viewed a little bit differently than what they are now. Like, nowadays, if you have, like, back in the day, it would be presented as a downloadable title, and it would be a smaller scale game. Now that downloading games is so commonplace, you know, anything can really be a downloadable game, but you get the idea. Like, a smaller scale game, they were viewed differently, and I feel like that game company did a good job of being one of the ones that presented these smaller scale games in a really unique way that captured the interest of more people. Flower isn't a game that has nuanced gameplay. It's not gonna have super in-depth fundamentals to it. However, I think from an atmosphere standpoint, being a casual game that you could just get in and lose, you know, a little bit of time with and be relaxed, I think Flower is an awesome pickup. For $1.88, I think it's a great buy. I would definitely recommend it. By the way, if you guys aren't familiar with it, that game company also did Journey. That was their other major title. Both these titles were big on the PlayStation 3 days, and really some of the first downloadable titles on that platform that got a lot of attention, I should say. Next up, we have State of Mind. This is a super trippy sci-fi game with a really slick art style that is so different than a lot of other games. Very much narrative-driven and is kind of psychological in that regard as well. If you're a fan of futuristic sci-fi games, I would definitely say give this a look. At the full price of $20, absolutely not worth it, and some of the gameplay isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but if you're into something that is more, you know, exploring various thematics in terms of, you know, elements of life, I think you'll find State of Mind quite interesting. $1.99, I think, is a pretty good buy. Next up, we have Batman Arkham Knight, down to $1.99 as well. I mean, if you haven't played Batman Arkham Knight, it is, to me, one of the most iconic PC games of all time, because this was also one of the worst PC ports ever released. I think if you know, look through my channel back in 2015, you could definitely find some videos of your boy losing it in rage. But yeah, this was so depressing because I stayed up until midnight to play Batman Arkham Knight when it came out in 2015. And imagine your boy just staying up until midnight, like super hyped. This is the culmination of the Arkham trilogy. You know, it had been 4 years since Arkham City had come out, 3.5, 4 years around that range, and all you're just greeted to is just an awful port at midnight. Like, Bro, I was infuriated when this game came out. Obviously, it's much better now. It runs really, really well, and visually, it looks fantastic. Steam Deck verified as well, and in fact, the visuals are so good that there's a popular video on YouTube, I forget the uploader's name, but they compared Arkham Knight's visuals and Gotham Knights' visuals. Gotham Knights obviously coming out 8 years after Arkham Knight, and Arkham Knight is, like, without a doubt the better looking game, which is kind of humorous. $1.99 for Arkham Knight is great. I even didn't hate the Batmobile sections. I know some of you guys dreaded them, but I thought they were fine. Next up, we got Castle Crashers, 90% off for $1.49. What an awesome cartoony beat 'em up here. I just think this is a great game that, again, if you just want something a little bit more charming, something not too serious, Castle Crashers is always a good time. Now, this is a game that I would very much recommend you to play with a group of friends. I think that's how you're going to get the best experience out of Castle Crashers. If you play it solo, you can still have a pretty decent time with it, all things considered, but, like, the co-op aspect to it is really what makes me nostalgic with Castle Crashers. Just having a group of friends and going through this game together, I thought was a blast. The art style has also aged fairly well, given that it knew what type of style to employ in 2012, and it was very much true to what it was going for. It wasn't trying to push the envelope or anything, but this cartoony look works even a decade plus later. Great game, and again, if you have a couple friends, you can recommend it to. $1.49 is such a good price that get them on as well, and you'll have a good time together. Next up, we got Just Cause 2. Now, Just Cause 3, I think, is the game that a lot of people would look at as, you know, the title to pick up, but Just Cause 2 is still an enjoyable open-world chaotic action title. Obviously, it does show its age, given that it's damn near 15 years old, which is just insane to think about, but, yeah, still a fun time, and still that over-the-top Just Cause gameplay that you can have a ton of fun with. For $1.49, I think it's a pretty good pickup. Next up, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, 80% off for $1.99. Now, I know that Ubisoft is going to remake it, but I don't know if we're going to get that remake in our lifetime, to be perfectly honest. I've heard some tumultuous things go on recently with the development of that remake as well, so take it for what it is. Sands of Time is an iconic Prince of Persia title, an iconic video game in general in that PS2 GameCube era. People loved Sands of Time. Now, I didn't play Sands of Time when it initially came out, but I circled back and played it like years later based on the reception of the game. And you know what? It's a very enjoyable game and a well-done title, and I can see why people want a remake of it so badly. Hopefully, it does turn out well, the remake it is, and hopefully it does come out in this, you know, in this decade, so to speak. Obviously, it got, like, restarted with its development and everything like that, but to play the original for $1.99, I do think that's a good buy, so definitely check that out. Next up, we got Murdered Soul Suspect, $1.99 as well. This is a game that I constantly go to bat for whenever it's at a deep discount. Like, your boy spent $50 on this game, and your boy got absolutely suckered spending $50. I don't even know what possessed me to drop $50 on this game, especially because, bro, this is back in 2014. I was fresh out of high school, and it's like, why am I spending $50 on games that are memes? Like, Murdered Soul Suspect is not a game you spend $50, $60 on, but $1.99, it's an enjoyable detective-style game with a lot of intrigue, and the supernatural elements, I think, are done pretty well. The atmosphere is pretty solid, very much based on its narrative, and not a action-heavy game or anything like that. But for $1.99, if you're looking for a enjoyable detective game, I think you'll have a good time with Murdered Soul Suspect. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Homefront for $1.99. Homefront is a super, super short game from its first-person shooter campaign standpoint. Had a multiplayer component, obviously. You ain't, who's jumping into Homefront multiplayer in the year 2024? Had a really, really interesting story, and thematically, I thought was really, really well done. It's a game that you absolutely do not spend more than $2 on, but if you want a shorter, compact first-person shooter campaign, I think you'll have a good time with Homefront. Like, very, very short. When I say it's fairly short, like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours is what I recommend, is what I remember Homefront running. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, for that price point, pretty good. Next up, Mini Ninjas, 85% off for $1.49. I haven't played Mini Ninjas in a while, but I remember really enjoying it as this really, really cute, like, action-adventure title with these stealthy ninjas. It's a charming game for $1.49. I think it's a pretty decent pickup. And then lastly, I'll give a shout to XIII Classic. This is on sale for $1.94. Obviously, it got remade recently, but that remake was kind of a train wreck. Go back and play the Classic. It's still got that awesome cel-shaded graphic style that has aged pretty well. Cel shading, I just think, always ages fairly well. Like, even being 20-plus years old. Gameplay is enjoyable. Narrative, nothing to write home about, but that art style is awesome, and the gameplay is fairly well done. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $2. Links to everything in the description box below. as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.